Hi everybody, welcome to the So Essential vlog. I'm here today to share my latest makes with you. So I've got two things to show you this month, both very summer inspired. I got very excited by the sunny weather that we had last month, and then as I said, the last stitch when we got into June, which should be, you know, full swing summer, of course the weather turned and we've had a miserable week this week with lots of rain here in the UK. But you know what, I'm ready. When that sun decides to come out again, I've got a couple of summer makes in my wardrobe that I can't wait to wear. As always, everything I talk about today is available on our website, and you can find a link to our website below. You can also find a link to our blog below where I share tutorials and my makes in more detail. And without further ado, I'm going to get started with this, which is a Seren dress by Tilly and the Buttons. So we sell the Tilly patterns on our website, and I'm absolutely thrilled with this. It's in our, I think it's called Artisan Cotton Lawn. It's one of the very new cotton lawns that's only just gone on the site. And as soon as I saw it, I knew I had to have it. I just thought the colour was so beautiful. And it's really strange. I'm not really one, traditionally I wear a lot of blue and a lot of pink. But actually I'm really getting into yellows and greens, as you'll see in this video, which is completely different for me. But I hope the video shows it up. I hope this shows an accurate colour. But it's like a lovely sort of goldy mustardy sort of colour, I would describe it as. And then obviously this big floral abstract print in lots of different colours I thought was just perfect for summer. So the Seren dress itself is a very fitted bodice with bust darts, and then you've got a waistband, and the skirt is sort of an A-line-ish skirt, or a flared skirt I suppose. I've chosen the knee length version, as you can see here. I think it's very flattering the way it hangs, this dress, because it's fitted round the top and then it kind of skims over the hips and the thighs. So it feels like a very flattering cut on the dress, which I'm really pleased with. Love the little button-up detail down the front. There were 14 buttons to sew on this version, but I'll talk to you a bit about that in a minute. One of the other features I really like about this dress as well is the straps. So they are wide enough. I've got a normal bra on under here, and they're wide enough to cover your bra straps, which I think is great, because personally I feel I get a much better shape with a proper bra than a strapless bra. So that's a nice feature of the dress. It's quite sort of it's not too low at the back either. It covers up your bra strap at the back comfortably, and all round just a really lovely flattering summer dress. I feel that I think I will get a hell of a lot of wear out of. So there are other options with the pattern as well. It's one of a really good sort of mix and match pattern. So there's an option for a tie front dress where you've got like a little tie at the front, and it's a midi length as well, so a bit longer than the one I made. There's also an option for one like the one I made, but with a roughly flounce across the front as well. And then there's also an option for separates as well, so you can make a top that ties and then make a skirt to go with it, and I think that's a really modern look as well. So can't sing their praises highly enough of this pattern. Another great pattern from Tilly. Now the sizes I should mention start from a size 1, which is a 30-inch bust, 24-inch waist, 33-inch hip, up to a size 8, which is a 44-inch bust, 38-inch waist and a 47-inch hip. So I chose to make a size 3, which was a 34-inch bust, 28-inch waist and a 37-inch hip. So my waist is really more like it's 29 inches really, so I knew it was going to be quite sort of svelte around the waist. But having made the nest skirt fairly recently and having made a size 3 in that, I knew the sizes were quite generous, so I thought it would be okay, and as it turns out it has been okay. It's maybe slightly sort of more fitted than, I don't know, I mean it's hard to say, because I think it's flattering because it definitely sits nice and flat round the waist. Maybe I could do with a tiny little bit more space in there, I don't know, but overall I'm really pleased with the fit. My hips also are a 38, 39, well 38 I think, so yeah, that they're slightly bigger than suggested, but I knew because it was quite a full skirt that wouldn't be a problem. I did make a small bust adjustment to this dress because I made a quick toile and it was gaping massively at the front here in the toile in the size 3. Even though my bust is a 34, it just was massive at the front. So I made a small bust adjustment, and then I did grade back out at the waist, because obviously when you make a small bust adjustment you reduce the amount of width, not just in the bust area but in the waist as well. So I did grade back out there, and then I was really pleased with the fit once I'd made that adjustment, and I think Tilly's done a tutorial on that, but also I did a video last week on how to do that, which you can see. Other than that, everything was very, very straightforward. In true Tilly style, the construction was dead easy. There's some really lovely details on this dress, like the buttons down the front, but it was just a very simple facing that was used to create this effect. There was no sort of placket or anything complicated. It was really dead simple. The facing runs across the top here and then down the front there, and then there's a separate facing that goes on the skirt. So that was all dead simple and easy. She gave really good instructions on the buttons and the buttonholes and how to space those. When I did my buttons and buttonholes, I used my Simflex sewing gauge, which you can get on our website, which is like an expandable, it looks like almost like a trellis, it's metal, and what you do is you can just stretch it out and position your buttons in equal distance using that, and I found that really useful. The other thing that I did was I used my one-step buttonhole on my Husqvarna Diamond machine, which is amazing. It's so clever, and I will try and share a video with you of how that works. It's not like any one-step buttonhole system. It's not like you put the button in the back. It's just very clever and made it really easy, so I will share that with you at some point. But some of the other tips as well that I did while I was making the sewing the buttons on were I used a little bit of basting tape to position my buttons. So I never thought of doing that before. I've always used it for invisible zips, but actually just sticking a little bit of basting tape, which is a double-sided invisible tape, again you can get that on our website, the links to our website are below, to position the button before sewing it on was just brilliant. It just meant I got them in exactly the right place. And then I also used a button sewing foot on my machine as well, because there were 14 buttons. I love hand sewing. I love sitting and hand sewing a hem or something, but the thought of sewing on 14 buttons, I just thought, oh, I don't want to do that. So I grabbed a button sewing foot for my machine. We do stock them for most brands of machine. We've got all the big names on our website, so you can have a look below. Just always check the compatibility charts to make sure it's compatible with your make and model of machine. But that just totally revolutionised sewing on the buttons. It just made it a really pleasurable, quick and easy task. It made sure that the buttons were sewn on at exactly the right tension, so that was really good as well, and made it a much more fun and enjoyable task. I'll just give you a little close-up of the buttons and buttonholes. So I think that's pretty much everything I've got to say about it. I think perhaps I could have positioned my buttons maybe a little bit further across. When I sort of laid the buttonholes on top of the place where the buttons were going to be sewn and marked them in position, I think maybe I could have marked them across slightly. But overall, you know, I mean, I'm not going to complain about that. I'm absolutely thrilled with the dress, and I just can't wait to wear it. We just need some nice sunshine now, so come on, British summertime, let's hurry up. So the next thing I want to show you is the Ogden Cami by True Bias. So this is a pattern that I've been wanting to make for ages. It's been on my to sew list for ages. It's a really lovely, simple summer cami pattern. I made it in this gorgeous viscose fabric, which we've got in this colourway, and also like a royal bluish purplish colour. But I just was really drawn to this jade green, which is quite unusual for me. As I said earlier, I'm really getting drawn to yellow yellows and greens now. It's a complete change. I don't know why it's happened, but I'm just really enjoying the vibrancy of those colours at the moment, instead of like the safe navy blues and things that I tend to wear, although I've always been a sucker for bright colours. But anyway, this fabric is amazing. As you can see, the movement, the drape, it's just so fluid. If you want to make a lovely blouse or dress for the summer, I highly recommend it. It washed beautifully. It was very easy to sew with. I thought it might be a bit of a nightmare, but actually it was fine. I didn't even have to use my walking foot for it, which was great. It's got like a very slight sort of, I don't know, it's got some sort of like almost textured or embossed print on it. I'll try and show you a bit closer. But it's just silky smooth. It is a fabric of dreams. It is just beautiful to wear, and it was perfect for the Ogden Cami. So the Ogden Cami is by True Bias. The size I made was a size 4, which is a 34-inch bust, a 28-inch waist and a 36-inch hip. My waist and hips are slightly bigger than that, but I knew it would be fine because it's a loose fitting design. I didn't have to make any adjustments at all to this pattern, so that was great. And it was a super simple sew as well. You know, even for a beginner, this would be a great pattern to make. Sizes start from a 32-inch chest, 26-inch waist, 34-inch hip, which is a size 0, up to an 18, which is a 44.5-inch bust, 38.5-inch waist and a 46.5-inch hip. So there's a good range of sizes in there. It was really easy to make. I cut the fabric on a single layer because it was very fluid, and the top is finished with the lining, so I knew the lining and the top needed to match up perfectly, so I just cut it on a single layer to make sure. That worked out really well. The construction is dead simple. It's finished with the lining, which comes to about there. And I really like that touch actually, because a cami top that I've made previously had a facing that came round here, and because it's sort of resting on your bust, you could see the line of the facing through the right side of the top, which I thought wasn't great. Whereas the way Kelly from True Bias has designed this, you don't see anything underneath, so that's great. I made the spaghetti straps. They were the perfect length for me actually, which was great, straight out of the packet. And I made those on my overlocker. I've got a really good overlocker trick which I've shared lots of times. I think it's on the vlog too somewhere on our YouTube channel, but it's where you run a chain of stitches off, put the chain of stitches down the centre of the right side of the strap, sew with your overlocker the two raw edges together along the length of the strap, and then you pull your chain of stitches to turn the strap through. It just makes life so easy. It's so quick. And I did sew some of the seams on my overlocker, the side seams I did. The neckline I sewed on my sewing machine. I thought I might need to use my walking foot, but I didn't. The fabric was really well behaved. One thing that I thought was a bit strange about the construction was that they were 1/2-inch seams, so that's fine, but they didn't suggest trimming the seams between the lining and the top when you were understitching and when you were clipping. It just didn't suggest trimming the seams at all, and I just thought that seemed a bit strange. I was worried there might be bulk there, so I decided to trim my seams down. So yeah, I'm not really sure why that was the case, but anyway, it worked out fine trimming the seams down. I think the cut of this is lovely, so it's nice and high at the front. You know, you're not going to be worried about gaping or you know, things being too low. It feels really comfortable. I don't feel like I'm going to be constantly adjusting it, pulling it up, which I do feel like in some of my ready to wear camis. The armholes were nice and high, but not too high, so there's no issues with bras showing there either. And then at the back it's actually quite low, which is a really nice feature, but it's high enough to cover your bra strap. So 10 out of 10 for this pattern. I can see why it's so popular. You can whip it up in just a few hours. I think there'll be several more of these in my wardrobe by the end of the summer. So yeah, thanks True Bias, that's a real hit, and the fabric was the perfect match as well. So I hope you've enjoyed all of that. One thing I did want to say actually is I'm wearing it with black skinny jeans, and it looks lovely with blue denim as well, this fabric does. but I'm sort of half thinking about making some black denim shorts. I'd like some sort of fairly high-waisted fitted ones. So if anyone can recommend a good pattern that they've tried out for that sort of design, let me know in the comments below. But other than that, I hope you've enjoyed what I've shared with you today. As I mentioned at the start of the video, everything, the fabrics, the patterns, all of it are available on our site, and the link to our site's below. There's also a link to our blog below. If you like what you see today, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.